was like, I was this high school kid.
Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Let's see. Woo! Hey! Hey!
Yes! This is so niche.
Yeah.
Static Shock! Superhero Static Shock!
I can't believe this is happening.
Hey, this podcast is about to get canceled, bro.
Wow.
Hey,
Man, you don't even, I got chills up and down right now. That was my show.
That is awesome.
It would, 10 a.m.,
Yeah.
we would have to go to Kumon. I'd say, no, I'm watching Static Shock first.
Now I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the Less Than 1% podcast. I think I actually have today a guest that is probably a better version of me, a lot younger, more vibrant, better, good looking, in shape. So I found my mini me. Sorry, Athena and Orion. But definitely my mini me, great guest. And I guess I should call you Doctor.
Yeah, I
Right?
guess so. Yeah.
Right? As of
December last year. Yeah. December 2024.
Yeah. So Joel, Dr. Bervell. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's an amazing person. I'm not going to give you, I know a lot of you know him. He is essentially world renowned because of solving a problem that no one wanted to solve, communicating about things that no one wanted to talk about. So true disruptor. And you guys know how I have a propensity to try to find and fall in love with disruptors. Definitely his story. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later on. And the very first one first disruption in the industry. And then we can talk a little bit about why you did it.
Yeah.
So let's start. Let's kick it off and let's learn your story.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So I mean, we've talked a lot.
Yeah.
We were at South by Southwest together.
Mhm.
And
I saw you last week in St. Louis.
yeah. We just briefly. It's almost like you're traveling in parallel universes.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that struck me is, and we'll kind of start, and you could tell me, where that started. But right before we were at South by Southwest, you were telling me about your story. And of course, you're viral. You have a lot of people who follow you. You've made big strides in the industry, especially through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But what made you, disrupt? What made you look at a situation and say, wow, this isn't right, and I want to have an impact?
Yeah. I mean, I really have to go back to kind of the beginning to even start to understand that. Both of my parents are from Ghana, West Africa, and we were talking about being child of immigrants. But I think that allowed me a certain type of freedom growing up. My parents are from Ghana, West Africa. I was born in Canada, but then I was raised here in the United States. And I feel like calling myself what I call like a third culture kid, I felt like I never had one specific place where I had to be or had to box myself into, but I could be anywhere. I could be anything that I wanted. We would go to Ghana, and I didn't totally belong there because I didn't speak Twi, but then I would still felt like I belonged because I would be accepted naturally. In my hometown, I wasn't thought of as necessarily Black because I was also Ghanaian, but then I was able to be accepted into communities there. And that was Canadian too, so it added this kind of flavor to it. And so I think I learned pretty early on that I didn't necessarily belong anywhere, but I belonged everywhere at the same time.
Wow.
And that allowed me to look at problems and things that did and didn't exist and look at them just kind of from like a third perspective of why we did things in the way that we did. I was also kind of the kid that always asked why to everything, which my parents absolutely hated. My grandma hated as well. But I was just a naturally curious kid, always asking like, why do we do it this way?
Yeah.
Why is this? Why do we have to take out the dishes today instead of tomorrow?
Right.
Or why can't daddy drive me to my soccer game?
Right.
I don't know, like stupid things like that. But those whys became bigger questions as I really started to try and figure out what my identity was. I think, as I mentioned, I felt like I belonged everywhere and nowhere all at once. But being both Black and Ghanaian, I always felt this tension of like trying to understand like how I fit into the world and the conversations that were happening, especially when I got to middle school and high school, where other students are trying to put their identity of what they think you are on you. And I remember as early as 7th grade, 6th grade, I was always like trying to be not a stereotype. And so someone would say, Joel, why don't you do this because you're black? And I would push back against it immediately. And so, yeah, I think being a disruptor has been like at a core of
Yeah.
who I am since growing up. And it's really come from just like understanding that I'm like a child of the world in a way.
Yeah.
But then also the fact that I've always wanted to push back against what people think of as stereotypes and being put into a box in any way.
Yeah, I mean that's that. You already know. I got little goosebumps. You guys can't see them, but the idea of being in a box, right?
Yeah.
That's not my. I mean, that's what my whole book is about.
Yep.
That we make these boxes for people. Society builds them for people, but more importantly, sometimes we build them for ourselves.
Oh, yes.
And
Yeah.
Imagine a world where you could be your authentic self and just change the world and have an impact in the world. That's when you're at your best. Marty. You remember Marty? Mr. Tominoshi.
Mr. Tominoshi.
Marty Bennett was here a while ago, and he talked about play. And he said that, remember, Jordan, he said that play is where people are their best, right?
When
Because
they're
you're
most
just
creative too. Yeah.
the most creative, the most, best performances. And I thought about it. I never really thought about that before. But when you're playing, you're most authentic.
Yep.
The playground is the most authentic place in the world. And so also vibing off, we talked about this too, not from Ghana, but from my parents from Jamaica,
Yeah.
immigrated to Canada, and then I left and came here. So
Yeah.
in some ways I feel
Very
like,
similar. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
belong nowhere,
Mhm.
but I actually belong everywhere.
Yeah.
It also gives you, I think, and you have an amazing ability to connect with lots of different people.
Exactly.
That's I think one of your gifts.
Yeah. And I think I love connecting with people.
Yeah.
And I love telling stories. I've always loved telling stories. And I think honestly it comes from my dad. This is just coming to me. I haven't thought about this in a long time actually. But when I was growing up, my dad used to tell stories of Anansi the spider. I don't know if you're familiar with Anansi.
Wait a second. No. We're gonna have to stop recording. What you know? I mean, and that is a Jamaican folklore.
It's
but
also Ghanaian, yeah. And so there's different stories of Anansi across African diaspora.
Jordan, after this one, we have to do a DNA test. This is getting a little freaky.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah, go ahead. I apologize.
But Anansi the spider, like my dad would come into my room, and so my brother, we had a bunk bed. He'd be above me. Or actually, no, I was above. He was below. My dad would like sit down on my brother's bed and tell us stories every night about Anansi the spider. And he would, I don't know if he was coming up with them or if he actually remembered them.
Yeah.
But there were all these parables of like Anansi learning how to be a part of the world. And so like storytelling has been in my DNA. My dad's a storyteller. My mom's a storyteller. And like hearing those stories about Anansi, it helped me shape my worldview of what I wanted the world to look like. And I think implicitly, again, like I said, I haven't really thought about this, but like I think implicitly I took the fact that he was a storyteller and used that in my own life to storytell as well. But Anansi for me has like been, I think I made one essay about him in college about like how core it was to my identity, because so many of the lessons that I learned from Anansi, whether it was like being in the forest and learning how to work with the lion and the snake, or even just the funny things that happened as well to Anansi, they were ways of me understanding how I wanted to leave my mark on the world. And also like knowing right from wrong, those classic fairy tales, right? But the way that Anansi was told and the way that my dad told me those stories was just incredible. And it made me want to be a storyteller too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I remember, so now you're taking me way back. So my grandmother used to tell those stories, and there was one where there was some beast, some kind of beast that they found, and the mouth was open, and they were sort of getting meat, and Anansi was getting there, he's cutting, and they said, "Don't cut the heartstring, you got to be careful," and he cut it, and the mouth closed on it, just little things like that, and it's showing the greed. It's a greed parable.
Yes.
Don't go in there, get what you need, and leave. Don't go in there and get too greedy, because you might, and then what happens after that?
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
And so many of the stories were about greed, right? And like about the importance of community and how without community, you have nothing. And I love that about African culture, because everything is based in like, not just yourself, but based in how do I connect with the rest of the world, and not even the world itself, but like your ancestors, both past and present, and future, and where you're going. And I think all of those things are things that I think about a lot, actually. more than I should, but like in a good way.
How those lessons get to you, right? In that oral history, is amazing. I'm gonna pick on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pick on me. Go for it.
Pick on you, because
I have an older sister, so I'm used to being picked on.
All right. So we have all this history our stories are so similar. Like I said, you're the you know, younger, better looking, more in shape version with hair of me. You weren't able to avoid the glasses.
The hair's going quick though.
Yeah, you weren't able to avoid the glasses.
No.
But so you're in the pandemic, and there's a lot going on with the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, most of which being around healthcare is non-political. It's, at the end of the day, you know, it's a virus. It's killing people.
Yep.
We're not. You know, I'm sort of. I always joke that I'm apolitical. I really don't, you know, worry about politics. But you, not necessarily on the political end, but you kind of see and hear information, and you're just like, it's not like you did years of practice. Like you're literally just learning about about the body and about viruses, and you decide to be a fact checker, Mythbuster, a person who's like checking grown people on what they're saying. Tell me, how does that happen? How did that start?
Yeah. So during the COVID pandemic, as you noted, like I was in medical school. I was in my first year of medical school actually when the COVID pandemic hit. So I started medical school in 2019. And if everyone remembers 2020, March 2020 was when really the COVID pandemic hit. But so during my first year of medical school, we ended up going entirely online halfway through. And I remember thinking, wow, this is interesting to be in medical school, learning about immunology and microbiology and viruses and bacteria and all that kind of stuff during a literal pandemic.
Wow.
And it was an amazing time. But I remember that the way we were talking about COVID when it came to Black community specifically often didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
We would say things, well, if you remember first, that people were saying that Black people couldn't get COVID.
Yeah.
And that it was like, oh, we were immune to it. And then suddenly everyone's like, oh, no, Black people get COVID more and we're dying more.
Right.
And so in medical school, we were often saying that like Black people were more likely to die of COVID, but we never dove into the reasons why. And for me, I'd gone to Yale for undergrad and we would talk about the liberal arts education, and the power of understanding not just one discipline, but all disciplines. And so I was looking at this and saying, why aren't we also talking about how specific communities are being disproportionately impacted, that are closer to areas that were redlined before or more exposed to pollution or have asthma. And I was like, why aren't we talking about it in this way? Why are we just leaving it at Black people are more likely to get COVID and then not talking about the rest of the things that we need to be doing to solve it? And so I started just talking online about things that I wasn't learning in medical school that I wish we were kind of infusing more.
Yeah.
And this, even when I first got into my medical school, myself and one other student were the first 2 Black medical students at my school. I have to caveat that by saying that my school had only been around for 3 years at that point.
Right.
But that meant 300 students had already been enrolled, none of them Black students.
Yeah.
So when I came in already, I was thinking, what does it mean to be a Black medical student in a space where there's less than 6% of all physicians that are Black?
Yeah.
What does it mean to be at a school where there isn't any kind of organizations or clubs for students to join if they don't feel like they belong anywhere? And then the COVID pandemic hit. So I'm thinking, okay, what does it mean to be a Black medical student during this time of COVID? During that same time period, there was a lot of political things that were happening, from George Floyd to Ahmaud Arbery to Breonna Taylor. And these were stories that I was seeing in the media, but that were affecting me as well. And because I was one of 2 Black students, my peers weren't actually seeing this in the same way that I was, or feeling in the same way.
Through those lenses. And
so I was talking with them as well about, like, are you thinking about this? Are you seeing this? And they weren't. I was their kind of news outlet for that. So I began to realize that there were things that I was seeing that I could bring into the narrative that other people weren't talking about, that could give us a fuller picture of not just the world around us, but medicine itself.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the first videos that I created that really combined everything was about this device called a pulse oximeter.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop you for a minute because I want to. We got it pulled up. So let's watch it. Let's watch it.
What does racial bias in medicine look like? This is a pulse oximeter. It measures your blood oxygen saturation level and also helps guide medical decision making. But studies have shown that it doesn't treat all skin color equally. Because of differences in how the skin absorbs light, Black patients are more than 3 times as likely to have inaccurate, overestimated oxygen saturation levels compared to white patients. And that has clinical significance for COVID, since one of the main diagnostic criteria for COVID-19 is shortness of breath and low oxygen levels. Understanding racial bias in medicine can help save lives.
Listen, man.
So you told me you're into Marvel.
Yeah.
I think this is your origin story.
Yeah, no, it
is your
is.
origin story.
This is your origin
Absolutely.
story.
That's what I was going to say. Is this your origin story?
Yeah.
Because you have to think, right? No disrespect.
Yeah.
Just 3 days of learning medicine. You know what I mean? Like, Yale is a great education, but this literally 3 hours of education, and to be able to, get the information, study, and meanwhile you're studying the past, right?
Yeah.
So you're also now studying, to bring up the studies, to find out the information. That is truly an origin story. It's definitely why I think all of these videos resonate with people. It's not just, if that were some expert, if that was Fauci,
Yeah. People
would
wouldn't
just
listen
be
to
like,
similar.
whatever.
Yep, exactly.
But here's a guy who is studying his tail off
Mm-hmm.
and is still able to get that information. So that's brilliant. Sorry, we cut you off to play the video
Yeah,
so
no.
that you didn't have to explain the video.
I mean, seeing that video is so interesting because like that room that I recorded that in is my childhood bedroom. Like that background there is like where I grew up, childhood bedroom.
That's awesome.
And the reason why I was even there was I made this December 2020, I want to say it was. And so I was home during winter break. I'd finished my first year medical school, started my second year medical school, was home during winter break, was on Instagram, and someone had shared a New England Journal of Medicine article about that, about how pulse oximeters don't work well on darker skin tones. And I literally read it. I said, there's no way. That's not possible. I've taken cardiology, pulmonology, I'd done most of my organ blocks by this point, was getting ready to take step one, and hadn't seen anything about this. And I was like, how is it possible that a device that we use on every single person
Right, and
in
nobody's
the
even
hospital,
talked about it.
no one's talked about it. This is the first time I'm hearing about it through an Instagram story. But I did research deeper, and literally goes all the way back until 1990, earlier, if so. Hewlett Packard, who used to create some pulse oximeters, actually had an article, I think it was like 1989 or something like that, that said that pulse oximeters may not work well on darker skin tones.
Yeah.
Yet despite all this research being out there, we hadn't talked about it in a way that let people know. And during the COVID pandemic, the FDA was telling people go out and buy pulse oximeters so you can understand like what your oxygen saturation was. And so the fact that there's nothing out there, I was like, let me go and make a TikTok about this.
Yeah.
And so at the time, TikToks would only be 30 seconds. And so that video is literally less than 30 seconds, it's 29 seconds. Made a 30-second video about it, as you just heard, and posted it. And within 24 hours, it had over 500,000 views.
Wow.
And there was doctors and nurses and a lot of healthcare professionals, because a lot of healthcare professionals were on TikTok at that time, commenting and saying, I never knew this, and I use this device every single day. And then patients saying, I wonder if this is what happened to me or to my loved one, and why they're not here anymore.
Yeah.
And when 2 years later, actually, so I think it was 2022, a study came out that showed that because of discrepancies in how the pulse oximeter works, more Black patients were sent away from the hospital and not given supplemental oxygen. That contributed to the deaths during the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
And so a full circle moment where you realize that this device that you thought was equitable may not be working for everyone.
Right.
And so I think when I go back to like why I even felt the need to do it, I kept thinking, okay, there's this information that could be life-saving for someone that is my mom, my dad, my brother or sister. Yet for some reason, we're not talking about it. Then wanting to like use TikTok of all places to start talking about it. I had no idea that it would do well.
Yeah.
I was just like, this information needs to be out there. I don't know who needs to see it, but someone does.
Yeah, that's amazing. The one thing that strikes me about you, talking, I think third or fourth time, is you have, I think there are people you meet, and you're just like, hey, how you doing? And you walk by him and you just whatever. And from the moment I met you, and I'm sure others, I mean, you're super humble, and you are. I mean, I think that you are developing your ego. I always say that, when you're real young, when you're 6, you have no ego.
Yeah.
And then you get, and then you learn things, and you're developing your ego. And you have a lot of people, I think, coming at you for different things, either to help you or to help themselves through you, or whatever the case may be. And I'm always struck by how grounded you are. I think that's part of your, your multiple homes but no home kind of thing. But you're super, super grounded. I mean, I think it's just amazing what you've been able to do in a short period of time. But that makes me ask another question.
Yeah.
So we got an origin story. And now we, because we're going to have this debate
Yeah.
too. This debate. But before we do that, what do you think your superhero skill is? What do you think your superhero power is? And it can't, just caveat. I know it's first time I'm asking you.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be I'm on time.
Oh,
It
no,
can't be like, oh, I never give up. Like that's the kind of thing you say on an interview. But
yeah.
a superhero power is something that is so intrinsic to you.
Yeah.
That is so authentic to you that you do without even knowing it.
Yeah.
But that power in the world it allows you to do amazing things. So with that,
I think I would say I'm a builder. And what I mean by that, like if I had a superpower, like the way this would manifest in like a superpower is like, so I just finished watching Invincible. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, I love Invincible. I love Invincible.
Like, you know, Eve.
We could change this podcast right now.
Yeah, we just talk about Invincible.
I watch every single superhero show that's out there. So like, if there's one that you have suggestions for, let me. Like, I love them. But Eve's power, like to be able to build things out of nothing, like I love that.
Oh man.
But I think I do that with like just ideas. Yeah. And I'm someone who, like, if I have an idea, I know how to make it come to life. I think that's definitely my superpower.
Okay, so I'm going to jump a little bit ahead. I wanted to ask you this question later, but I'm going to ask you now.
Yeah.
What does the future then look like for you? Like what are you thinking? You're going to go to residency.
Yeah.
Now listen, I'm going to give you some advice.
Mm-hmm.
You've been on Kelly Clarkson. You come in here. You go in all these different places.
Yeah.
Please. Lock down in residency. Bro.
Oh, I will.
You're not going to be able to go to all these.
I'm doing everything now. Like this year already, I went to the Grammys. I went to the NAACP
you were
Awards. I'm trying to do everything now before it starts.
You were everywhere.
Yeah.
So, but aspirationally, like let's just again save the viralness of because that can be fleeting. That can
it is
rise
fleeting.
and fall and fall in and out of favor really quickly. But fast forward to when you're old like me. What's your aspiration? What do you want to be? What where do you want to have that next impact in the world?
Yeah. I heard a long time ago that the job you're going to have in the future probably doesn't exist today. And I hold on to that really closely. Like, I don't know exactly what my future will look like, but I know it'll merge a lot of the different passions that I have. So I love medicine. I love storytelling. I love tech. I love policy. And so when I think like 20 years down the line, I think I would want to create something that merges all those things together, whether that's storytelling in a way and bringing new media to life that inspires the next generation in terms of medicine or even beyond, whether that's creating policies that have real world impact on the ground. So I don't know exactly what my future looks like, but I know it'll have hints of elements that are inspiring more people, using stories to drive change and wanting to really leave in. I don't know why I always thought about legacy a lot.
Yeah.
And so like wanting to leave a positive legacy. And I remember I have this friend, her name's Thanaz. First year of college, we were all sitting in a circle with a group that later became called Turned Central. They were like my best friends in college. And Thanaz asked this question of like, what is like your purpose in life? Like this big question, right? And I didn't have an answer, but she said, I want to leave a legacy. And then she talked about how there's 3 ways you die. The first is when your heart stops beating.
Yeah.
The second is when you're put in the ground. And the third is when your name is said for the last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think when she said that, I was like, I don't know why, but I want to make sure that when my name is said for the last time, it's at least for something that's made the world a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I know that's not a direct answer.
No,
it's not
concrete. It is actually a more direct answer than most people. Most people will say, I want to do this or I want to do that. I did something similar to this with Simon Sinek. I've interacted with him a bunch. He helped do our strategic plan for Vituity. And so he did a little why interrogation with me.
Love it.
And and I'm an emotional dude, so he's asking me questions, and I'm really trying to introspect. And I didn't know this. You may have heard this, Jordan. He said my why was to inspire others to do the work to be greater than they ever thought they would be. And when he said that, I started crying.
Wow.
Because my coaching, when I coached AAU basketball, what I do as a leader in Vituity, I always wonder, like, what is my why? Why am I doing this? Why do I feel this way? Why am I always pushing? And it's because I really want people to do the work, because I do not believe that where people think they are is where they're going to be.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it makes me angry when people get left behind.
Yes, yeah.
It makes me angry when people don't get their due, if you will, when other people don't deserve it.
Yeah,
Because society's built these boxes around, what is and isn't going to be successful.
exactly.
So I love that you actually have a why statement. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily a goal or target in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
You mind if we call somebody?
Yeah.
So we do this thing where we call family member, friend, whoever you want,
Uh-huh.
and we ask them what your superpower is. So just for the record, because we don't want you to change it. So your superpower is that you're a builder.
A builder, yeah.
Yeah. With a little bit of storytelling.
Yeah.
A little bit of storytelling.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's do it. So you have to Jordan.
I think I'll do my brother. My brother will be a good one.
Okay.
He'll have a good answer.
Now is he older?
He's younger.
Okay.
So my brother and I have always been super close. And he's so smart. Yeah, he's the one who said I will not go to medical school. I will go to business school, and he's killing it. He has a startup he's doing out in New York right now.
Yeah.
That's AI. He went to Harvard Business School, Harvard for undergrad.
That's awesome.
He's like, yeah, if I need to bounce ideas off of someone, he's the one I go to.
And then you might want to put the headphones on.
Yeah.
Let's see if he picks up.
Yeah, that's always a risk, right?
Yeah, if he doesn't pick up, I'll call my dad.
Yeah.
My dad always
Yeah.
picks up.
Yeah, because this isn't planned, so there's always
Yeah.
a risk someone's not going to pick up.
Oh, cool.
So one day when we ask somebody, they're going to say, no, I'm not calling anybody.
I mean, this is nice though, because it's nice to call someone. I was just thinking I need to call my family more.
Yeah.
I don't call them enough at
Yeah.
all. And so I
Call
need
them
to do
all
that.
the time.
My parents have no idea wherever I am.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
but
they find my friends. That's how they know if I'm not in the city.
Yeah. But as they get older, I mean, call them all the time. 'Cause
Exactly.
They want to know how you're doing. And it's, it's yeah. Yeah. You know the reasons.
Yep. Okay, should I call him?
Yeah, go
Are we
ahead.
All
connected?
right. Let's go.
Okay, we'll see if he picks up. He might not pick
We
up.
might not.
He might be in a meeting.
He's making money.
He's making exactly. Okay, I'll do my dad next. If he
Okay.
doesn't.
Hi, you reached Michael
okay.
Bervell.
Let me call my dad. Uh-oh, is no one picking up? Oh, yes.
Hello.
Hey, Daddy, how's it going?
Good, George. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm on a podcast right now, and they're having me call someone. And well, I don't know if do you want.
Yeah. Hello, how are you, sir?
Hi.
Good. I'm sitting here with your wonderful son. First, I just want to say you've done a magnificent job. He is a wonderful human being, and I know that is 98% from you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we do this thing, and I appreciate your time. I know you're probably busy, but we do this thing where we asked your son and said, hey, what's your superpower, right? Because we try to think of what people's superpower are. What is their thing that they can do all the time to impact the world? And so he gave an answer. And then what we do is we go ahead and call a parent or family or friend, and he chose you to call. And so that question is to you. So what do you believe that your son's superpower is?
Wow, that's a difficult question.
Well, I'm sure you believe he has many, but if you could choose one.
Well, I think he has a soft spot to help the needy, and he looks out for people. And so his superpower, I know he used to tell stories of he reading comic books about Superman and all that, and that he got ideas from those. But I think his superpower is his soft heart to help others.
Oh, that's so amazing. That's so amazing. Well,
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, Daddy, I was telling them about how you used to tell stories of Anansi the spider.
Yeah, Anansi the spider, I mean, has all those traits and characteristics that embodies humanity and the vices and virtues of humanity. And I feel that Joel learned a lot of the good things out of those stories of Anansi the spider.
Wow. Wow. That's yes. He related a lot of those stories, and just so you know, he attributes a lot of his success and who he is to you and the way he was brought up. So I'm actually like emotional because my parents are from Jamaica, and we had those same stories too. So I can remember sitting there and my grandmother telling me stories, and so I feel like I'm his big brother that So I told him, I said, I'm going to do a DNA test because we're so similar. So I appreciate your time. I know you're busy, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
Okay. Good seeing you, Daddy. I'll see you on Friday.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, that is amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, that was nice.
Honestly, like know how I get emotional.
Yeah.
Like, hearing. So growing up in Toronto.
Yeah.
The difference between living in Toronto and living in America is accents.
Yes. Yep.
You understand?
Yeah.
Like if you're in Toronto, your friends
Everywhere.
all sound Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go home, you go to their houses.
Yeah.
And whether it's Italian or, Pakistani, or if it's Ghanaian or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And when I hear his voice, I hear the culture.
Yep.
You automatically hear
You can feel
the
it.
stories. You can feel what is embodied in you.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
I low-key want to call my mom now too.
yeah, let's do it.
I just want to see what she says.
let's do
Like
it.
I'm like, I'm curious what my dad said that. I'm like, what would my mom say?
Yeah, let's do it.
And she will love me calling. Like I said, I do not call my mom enough.
But
at
you know
all.
what the problem is?
I like this, that we can see what she has to say too.
Yeah. But the problem is too, if you call dad and then mom
Don't call
finds
mom.
out.
Exactly. I know she'll be upset. She'll be like, I heard you talking to Daddy on the phone. You did, because he's gonna call her immediately. Like, so I need to be. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's on that note.
Okay. Let's see what mom says. She'll pick up pretty quick. I know she will. Or maybe not. Wow. She might not pick up. She's in a meeting then.
Yeah.
At some point, she'll definitely call back.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's
that's
absolutely
And
gonna
we'll
call
take
back.
it.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Yeah.
Please leave your message
Okay.
for.
Yeah, she'll
we'll
absolutely call back.
Yeah, we'll get her back.
She's gonna be like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, what happened? What happened?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
first thing
I know that-
what
that's
happened?
First,
Yeah,
that's gonna be the first.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Man, that's so amazing. That's so amazing.
I think it's so funny that he mentioned the superheroes in the comic books and stuff.
and
Like,
mention the storytelling.
Yeah,
Like that again. I mean, your superhero power is evident
Mhm.
from with other people. That's why I ask,
Mhm.
because a lot of times we have in our mind what we think it is, but then you have other people talk to you, and it's like again, let's talk about SNMA.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like I went there, and I'll be honest with you, I was a little down.
Mm.
I've been bouncing back and forth, just like you.
Mhm.
Event
All over
to
the place.
event
Yep.
to event. Healthcare is challenging,
Mhm.
and we have all these different things going on. And I was like, I'm done. Like,
Mhm.
I don't even know if this is really the thing that I want to do.
Wow.
Right? Like seriously. Like, I mean, it's like I know what I want, the impact I want to have,
Mhm.
but I feel like I've been a jack of all trades. That I can do it in other ways. I'm
Exactly.
like, and I'm down. I'm
Yeah.
down. So, I got my game face. So I get up there and I go up there, and I do that. I give the keynote for the opening ceremony,
Mhm.
and they poured into me.
Mhm.
Like I was like, okay, first of all, I'm here to pour into you.
Yeah, and you're
And then
pouring
standing
into me.
ovation, they poured into me. And you could see what I love about them, which I see in you too. I see you don't have, and maybe you'll never have, but you don't have the calluses
Mm.
of the industry,
Mhm.
the calluses of healthcare,
Yep.
the burnout, the washout,
Yeah.
the payer problems, the things that end up being world hunger. You don't
Mhm.
have those yet. So
Yep.
in your mind and in your actions, you are literally wake up every morning like I'm going to change the world.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what all of these students had.
Yep.
And it reminded me that that's how I am,
Yeah.
but I need to be reminded by someone else. Like, you need to wake up. I wake up every day. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go change the world.
Yeah.
And everybody laughs at me. They're like,
Mhm.
Moo, you can't. What are you talking about? You're not
Mhm.
going to change the world. Like,
Yeah.
literally, you're one person. But I
Mhm.
feel like I can.
Yep.
And I see that in you.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I appreciate that.
yeah, it's
But
amazing.
I mean, I love that you said that because like I like I am worried for the future, just
Yeah.
in general. Like just knowing that like that does happen to so many people in medicine, right? That you get burnt out or the things that you thought you could change, you feel like are immovable. I know like a lot of my friends when I started doing social media, like I mentioned, I lived in a house with 5 of my other roommates, and so they've seen this whole journey from the first video to like where I am today. And a lot of my friends now are in residency, and
Yeah.
often what they'll say is, well, like a lot of the things you talk about, yes, they're real, but like when you get to residency,
Yeah.
that's when like
Yeah.
that's when
Yeah.
it's actually going to show if it all holds up, you know. And that makes
Yeah.
me nervous a little bit sometimes. But at the same time, I see it as a challenge. And like
Yeah.
I've told some of my best friends who are in residency doing surgery and anesthesia and every ophthalmology, every specialty. But like I'm like, we'll see. Like I hope that I keep this like wake up every day, feel like I can change the
Yeah.
world mentality about it. 'Cause I think we need more people like that are within the field too, not
Yeah.
just looking from the outside in, but actually in it and feel like they can.
And I will say to you, just like they poured into me, you don't have to wake up every day and feel like that.
Yep.
And I'm an example,
Yeah.
but you have to have people around you. And I told you this from we met. Like, I mean, I don't know what. Well, I think we all have sort of resources
Mm-hmm.
in the world, whether it's social capital or whether it's, being a CEO or whatever it is, or whether it's being, ability to affect the world through social media, like whatever it is.
Yep.
Is that, like, what's mine is yours.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's the moment, when you drop and you're like, oh, today I can't change the world because I'm on trauma rotation and I'm tired.
Yeah.
Someone's going to pour into you,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think being at AMEC, like you said, like you felt like you poured into. I had this one girl who came up to me and she said, this was so crazy to me. She's like, I went to medical school because of you.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wait, how's that possible? I'm like, I'm young still.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, when I was a senior in high school, like she was now a first year med student, but she started watching me when she was a senior in high school. And I realized I've been making videos for 5 years now. So that's enough time for someone to be a senior in high school,
Yeah.
go all throughout college, and now to start medical school. And it was this moment where I said, like, I don't think I'd realized like the impact I was having just by posting videos. But I had so many people come up to me throughout the weekend. It was a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
But saying like, I've been watching your videos for X amount of years. Like I've seen you do X, Y, Z. It's made me want to like continue in. And like hearing that was like my reminder that, like you said, you don't have to wake up every single day
Yeah.
that you're gonna change the world. Like I've already changed someone's life.
Yeah.
Which is like, and that's
One. You
enough
just
for
need
me.
one.
Just even one.
Just need one.
And when I was in high school, there was this guy named John Norland who would come to our school every single year and talk about servant leadership.
Yeah.
And he would always do this kind of model where he would put up his pinky and he would shake it like this. And he'd tell everyone in the assembly, move your pinky like this right now. And everyone would. And he would say, what's happening right now is you're hitting all the atoms in this room. Those atoms are hitting more atoms. You could be building a tsunami right now all across the world.
Yeah.
But the point that he was trying to make was this thing called the amazing law of influence.
Yeah. Yeah.
One life touches another life, potentially both lives are changed. One life touches another life, potentially the whole world is changed.
Yeah.
The idea of the ripple effect and how you don't even know how one positive action that you have.
Right.
So in high school, we were talking about things like holding the door. We would hold the door every single morning open
Yeah.
for every student coming in.
Yeah.
When I was student body president, I was actually student body president all 4 years. From my class president, freshman to junior, and then student body president senior year. I learned everyone's name in my high school, 2,400 students. I had a little sheet and I would go through and check off every single one. But all those little things I realized were like the things that brought me joy and like my way of connecting with people that feel like they weren't connected to something greater.
Yeah.
And that's like always my goal in life is just like to be a connector, to be a builder, to want to make the world a little bit better and whatever that means.
So that's that butterfly effect too.
Yeah.
That's the same, the beat of the wings of a butterfly here can be a tsunami somewhere else.
Exactly.
You should run for president.
Yeah,
I
also,
was born in Canada, so
Oh, we
definitely
can't-
would not.
Neither of us.
Neither of us
can run.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Like I had elementary school teachers saying that. Like we can see you being president. I was like, what in the world? Why are you telling me that now? But that's another thing, right? Like someone saying that they can see you in a position.
Yeah.
That's all that kind of stuff.
That's all you need.
That's all you
That's
need.
all you need.
That's all you need.
Or for me, someone who says you can't. And so that's what happens.
Exactly.
That's what my book is all about. The fact that I had a coach kind of say that to me, but how many times do we do that, right?
Yep.
How many times? And I think there's a group of people who, when you say they can't, they just can't. And then there's a group of people that say, oh, really?
Yeah. Let me
Watch
show
me.
you wrong.
Watch me.
Exactly.
Okay, so now let's do the superhero thing, Jordan. So who's your favorite? Who's the favorite superhero? Let's do this.
Oh,
Let's do this superhero
That's
battle.
easy for me.
Okay.
I'm curious. You probably know him. Static Shock.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I know
yeah.
Static. What do you
Love
mean?
Static
I used to
Shock.
watch
You
that.
know me.
Look,
I used
the
to watch
TV
Static
show.
Shock.
I used to watch
Kids
TV show,
WB.
yeah, yeah.
Murder.
Oh my gosh.
Murder.
So there's one episode from Static Shock that I actually wrote my college essay about. That's how
Yeah.
like profound it was for me. And it was he went to Ghana
Yeah, he
and
did.
he meets Anansi the spider
Yes,
in a superhero form.
I remember that.
And it just blew my mind. I was like, I had literally just come back from Ghana
Yeah,
to
yeah,
like
yeah.
the week before, and I had randomly turned on the TV. Here's this episode. And it was literally him just like connecting with
Yeah.
his roots. It's the same conversations like that I was having of like Black versus African, you
Yeah.
know?
You gotta,
Um,
Jordan. You gotta. I'm sorry to do this. You gotta pull up the while we're talking.
Well,
you
yeah,
gotta
pull up the
up.
episode.
Can you put, no, don't even pull up. I don't know if you get the episode, but get the trailer, the music, because
Okay,
I can hear the
okay,
music
okay.
in my head.
Yes.
Go.
I can't
finish.
even go.
Yeah,
Go,
let's go. Static.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So he's my favorite superhero. I think there needs to be if there's a live action that comes out, it has to be good. It has to be
Yeah.
good. But I can see a live action of that. But I think what I felt about Static was like I was this high school kid.
Here it
There's a
is.
kid's
Here it
movie,
is. Here
yeah.
it is. Let's see.
Fight the criminal, chase the bad guys. Save the world, fly the sky. Have kid, I'm amazing. Okay, stand shot on face.
Hey. Hey.
Yes. This is so niche. Static Shock. Superhero Static Shock.
I can't believe this is happening.
Hey, this podcast is about to get canceled, bro.
Wow.
Hey,
Man, you don't even. I got chills up and down right now. That was my show.
That is awesome.
It would 10 a.m.
Yeah.
We would have to go to Kumon. I'd say no. I'm watching Static
I'm
Shock
watching
first.
Static. I think it
We
was.
have
it was 10 a.m.
I think it was 10 a.m.
everywhere.
I think it was
Yeah.
10 a.m. Because
Yeah.
like sometimes I wouldn't be able to watch it because I was like going to piano practice.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I'd be like, no, I got to see Static Shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me, Jordan. What's your superhero? Your favorite? Number one.
man.
I know you got to pick one.
Yeah. Oh God.
And none of this tie stuff. None of this tie stuff. Number.
No, I mean, I think for me it'd have to be, it would have to be Iron Man.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
The fact that he had no secret identity too.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
he-
always
he liked
crazy.
to-
He's just
he liked
out
to
there in
build
the world.
things. Yeah, he was just cool.
Yeah. Come get me.
Yeah.
Come get me.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, kind of about what we were talking about, like merging like different lives, right? He didn't separate it out. He
No,
put them
he-
together.
they're
He
all
did put them
together.
together.
Put it
Yeah. That's
together.
He was
that's
who he was. Yeah.
yeah. That's a great point. So I just said you can't have two. But
You about to break the rules?
I'm asking the question, so I can do what I want. So my favorite.
Mhm.
I actually have a favorite and a most respected.
Mm.
Let me start with my most respected is Batman.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason
I
my
see it.
most respected is Batman is for two reasons. One is he has no superpowers. I
Mhm.
mean, unless you think being rich is a superpower, but he literally is going to fight people who have major superpowers.
Yep.
And he's using his mind, his wit, his guile.
Yep.
So totally respect. That's because that's a tough road. And the way he channels anger,
Yep.
because it's all anger.
Yeah.
It's all, right? Even
Yeah.
the voices they try to go, because that channel anger and my base emotion is anger. So I understand that. But my favorite is actually Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why. Because I say a little different time, but it's the Superman, Spider-Man. I'm watching all these different superheroes.
Yep.
The thing I love about Superman, and they're probably going to change this, and I hope that they don't go Netflix.
Mm.
Good one episode you're amazing, next episode you're the zero, then you're the hero, then you're the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Because Superman does what's right every
time.
single time. Like
Yeah.
how nauseating is that?
Yeah.
Right? That every time when you're mad, you're angry, you're sad, your girlfriend just got, killed, and you go, and you do the right thing every time.
Yeah.
Like that's his super strength is not his thing.
Yeah.
The other thing that I love about him is he literally can kill somebody
Mm-hmm.
every time.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to know exactly how much power
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
to use to subdue him, but not to kill him.
Exactly.
There's actually one time he messes up, and it's when he fights. What is the one they made? They made they took his DNA and made a bad guy.
Oh,
I don't know what it's called.
Is not Bizarro. Is it
no,
Bizarro?
it was I can't remember his name.
It's not Superboy, is it?
No. They took his DNA and they made him. They made this this villain who's so ugly, dark.
No. His name.
It's on the tip of your tongue.
The one who killed him, really.
Yeah. So
Ended up killing him.
So he fights him and he realizes he's just as strong.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "I'm so glad." And he gets angry. He says, "I'm so glad that I can finally use all my power."
Oh wow.
Yeah. So imagine how that restraint,
Mm-hmm.
right? How much power do you have, and you have to restrain?
Doomsday.
Yep.
Doomsday.
Yep.
Doomsday. Man, that was yeah. Anyway, goosebumps thinking about that.
Yeah.
It's interesting how superheroes, like over here,
Mm-hmm.
how superheroes really are kind of set the bar, the ethical, the standard,
Yeah.
and the inspirational bar
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
I mean, you think about how they were built out of, right? You know,
Yeah.
like built out of oppression and tragedy, like
Yeah.
at a time, and that's why I think so many like young Black kids saw themselves in superheroes.
Yeah.
This like higher ideal of what we can be.
Yeah.
But then also like you're saying, like having lots of power, but being able to like be self-restrained or like
Yeah.
what I love about superhero stories in general is the idea that there's always the nuance of each story of just like
Yeah.
having these amazing powers, but then still being human at the end of the day. And that in between
Yeah.
of like, what do you do within that gap
So,
of
yeah.
having power, not having power,
So-
and then doing things within there?
So I have a question for you. With using social media as a megaphone,
Yeah.
how do you balance medical accuracy
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
with mass appeal?
Yeah.
You know, obviously you have a ton of success right now.
Mm-hmm.
You were just on the Kelly Clarkson show,
Yep.
Grammys. You just won a Webby.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by
Yeah.
the way.
When is this coming
So-
out, this podcast episode?
Whenever you want.
Okay.
When
Because
you want
if
it
it's
to
coming
come
out after May 1st, I can also announce something that like I haven't announced
After
yet.
May
but-
1st,
We'll do it
after May
after May
1st.
1st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I got a Peabody too.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Peabody Award. Yeah.
Wow.
I found out literally 2 days ago.
That is so
Um,
awesome.
Which is
man.
crazy. And I told like my podcast team, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And Jody, who's my producer,
Yeah.
she produces what's the New York Times episode? Anthony Barbaro.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
She produces that as well, but she was like, "That's like my life goal," and I was like, "This is
Wow.
crazy!" Like, I just got a Peabody for the work I'm doing
Congratulations.
online.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So how
Thank
do
you,
you?
thank
Yeah.
you.
So how do you balance that?
Yeah. That's a great question. Like, I think the way I approach everything that I make online is things that I see as interesting for myself that I wish that I remember when I was growing up, like I would be following on people like Adam Braun, who on Pencils of Promise.
Yeah.
Like those were my like heroes. You know, Barack Obama, loved him. And like I was like, we don't get enough of those stories of like how they got to where they are or the goodness that's out there in the world, people doing nonprofit work. And so like I always found natural interest in those kinds of stories. And I was like, I know there's other people that are interested in this too.
Yeah.
And so I don't think about like what's going to necessarily bring mass appeal. I think about like what younger Joel would be watching, or like
Yeah.
what I even want to be watching, or the news that I want to hear about. And so there's a book that I would suggest. You might have read it already. It's called Made to Stick
Yeah. I know,
by
yeah,
Chip
yeah,
and Dan
Yeah.
Heath.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every video I make, I try and apply like what they talk about in the book. And their model that they use is called success: simple, unexpected, concrete, credible, emotional. And it should have a story.
Yep.
And so whenever I'm thinking about something that's important, like one, I have all those elements in there. Two, I make sure it's something that is actually actionable for someone, so that they can say, "I've learned this. I can actually apply it to my life." And then three, that it's like you said, accurate.
Yeah.
That I can do the research. I can go down, and there's actually research that backs it up. Oftentimes, I'm like at the forefront of talking about something, but even so, I'm always making sure that there's research to back it up. If there's not, adding that caveat and saying we need more research done, and then trying to work on that research that's there.
Yeah.
And so it's a fine balance I try and strike, but it's
Yeah.
all about one, finding things that I would find interesting, not necessarily that like I think will do well, but that's just I find naturally interesting. A lot of my videos don't do well,
Yeah.
right? Because there's just things that I want to hear. Like I'm like this. I think this is important.
Right.
I would want to use this in my own practice.
Yeah.
I want my family members to know about this. And then two, like wanting to make sure that I put it in a way that's accurate, but also still engages people into wanting to hear it. So yeah, it's not easy. And
It's not easy.
it fails
yeah.
half the time. 50% of my videos do well, 50% of my videos don't do well. But it's because I'm always trying to be as authentic to
Yeah.
what I think is the stories that are not getting heard enough out there.
But I would argue, no disrespect to the book,
Mm.
I would argue that you figured that out with your first post.
Yeah.
So that, you're kind of, I mean, because you're a researcher and you're a reader and you're like, I'm going to figure it out because I want to continue to be better. But the truth is that what you found early on, which was tell a story, that was passionate to you, and it was passionate to a bunch of other people. So,
Exactly.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I will say it's gotten easier now that like videos can be longer. When it was 30 seconds, man. That was hard because I wanted to be as accurate as I could.
Yeah.
You've only 30 seconds, so you can't explain things really.
Yeah.
It's just like I could only lay out the problem. I couldn't lay out the solutions, which I hated. Now I actually do longer 5-minute videos where I can like lay out the problem, the history, and the solutions all in one. And I love that a lot more because I think it gives people a little bit more of an understanding of what's the issue and how can I fix it.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you, I have an answer to this. We talked about superheroes, and I also want to get to healthcare too.
Yeah,
I think,
absolutely.
obviously you're at a different stage of healthcare. I'm at a different stage. Like how do you see healthcare? But before we get to that, we go back to the superhero thing. So if you look at the origin story, your origin story is superheroes. It's not that different than supervillains. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, spider bit you, or, something happened, or you fall out of the sky, you fall into a vat of acid.
Yep.
Like all of these, I mean, you could actually just take origin stories and without any other context, and you could not maybe figure out whether it's a hero or villain that was created from that origin story.
Absolutely.
So the question for you is, what is that difference? What is that difference where you have that moment where something happens to you, like something happened to you, and like you're like, I want everybody. What makes you a villain versus what makes you a hero?
The people around you. Think about Superman. Aunt May.
Okay.
Or is it Aunt May?
Aunt
No, that's
May is
Spider-Man.
from
That's
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Who's his
Superman,
uncle?
remember he landed and the family adopted him.
Yeah, but what's his parents' names? The ones that adopted him? I can't
forget.
remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Superman had his parents.
John and same name as Batman's
Well,
mom.
the Kents. It's
The
the
Kents.
Kents.
Kents. Yeah,
But it's
so the
Jonathan
Kents.
and my memory's gone.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the people around you. So Spider-Man, he had his parents, the Kents. Superman had his parents, the Kents. Spider-Man had Uncle Ben. That's just like with great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
I think even Static Shock had his dad, who was a police officer at the same time too, and like instilling those values in him. And I think if you go through every superhero, even the ones that don't have family, who are passed away, they have someone. And for me, I mean, we just talked to my dad and
Martha.
Martha. There it is, Martha Kent. Yep. I think that's what makes the difference. And
actually, Batman had
the butler.
The butler.
What's his name? But even his parents, right? His parents were so good at their core too.
Yeah.
Even with lots of money, the Waynes wanted to do a lot in the city. And so I think if you go back to every story,
Alfred.
Yep. And then on the flip side, you think about the villains. A lot of them didn't have people in their life, or after they got their powers, someone ostracized them in some way.
Yeah.
And they wanted to lash back out to
Two-Face.
And they wanted to lash back out at the world.
You have to realize what you just said is brilliant. This is. I mean, we gotta forget viral. I don't even care if anybody likes that part. That's amazing. That's an amazing thing. The people around you, when you have an inciting event, positive or negative, the people around you are who
build you up or break you
down.
Yeah, I think about this a lot actually in my own life, like how I stay humble, and like I know I'll my friends will always keep me honest.
Yeah.
Like, I talk about my best friend Athena all the time. We just went on a trip to Costa Rica.
Yeah. I saw the pictures.
Yeah, and she's like, I love her to death because she will break me down in the best way. I mean, where people will be like, "Oh, Joelle did this," and she's like, "I don't care. Like, you're still Joelle. Like, I know who you are at your core, and no matter where you go, I'll remind you of like who you are and why you got into this in the first place."
Yep.
And we need more people around us like that.
So my daughter's name is Athena. So
really?
All these parallels.
It's a good name. It's a good name.
I love the name. So one of the things I ask people to, we obviously. I'm doing this podcast for lots of reasons. Obviously, I'm a healthcare leader, and I've been in healthcare. That's where most people know me. But I have all these other lives that hopefully in the podcast we can bring together, because I feel like in healthcare we're stuck solving problems that other people have solved in other industries, but we're so reticent to talk to them or to connect with them. So on this podcast we have healthcare people. We have people in medical school. We have, in residency, we have people who are athletes and entertainers and comedians. people ask like, Moo, why do you have what is this podcast about? And I said, it's about disruption. It's
Yeah.
about finding those less than 1% people, those people who have impact greater than they ever thought they would,
Yep.
and how they're going to change the world. And I think that's, I think when you mentioned that, it made me think of the reason for the podcast
Yeah.
is because I want different people around the problem. The problem is healthcare, but I just don't want to solve it with people in healthcare. I
Exactly.
want all of these people to be around me so that now we can elevate healthcare into a totally new and actually change it from health care to health, right?
Yep.
Because that's really what it is. It's not just the care when you're sick. But that's that was a brilliant. You said a few brilliant things.
Thank
We'll
you.
edit out all the other stuff. but
Yeah, and all the other dumb stuff I said. Keep only make me look brilliant.
the brilliant things. Oreos.
Or yeah.
What is this?
Also, okay, this is it's an interesting story.
We can
We can
go
have
for
one.
it.
Yeah.
So which one you want, the double stuff or the
Actually,
regular?
I like the regular.
Okay.
The
So
double
we're
stuff
gonna,
is too much stuffing for me.
I'm gonna open it while you tell us the
Okay.
story.
So, okay, Oreos, I've always loved Oreos as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think there's like a double meaning to it for me. Like, not the happiest, but like, I mean, so growing up, like I mentioned, I don't think I mentioned this actually. I grew up in,
I'm killing the sound. Right
You
now.
are. It's all right.
I grew up in a town north of Seattle by about an hour. It's called Mukilteo, Washington.
Yeah.
It's kind of this beach town, beautiful place to grow up, but it's very white.
Yeah.
And it's white and Asian, basically. And so in my high school, as I mentioned, there's 2,400 students, but myself and my brother were one of like 10 black students in the entire school. And so I was always very used to being one of the only. But people used to call me Oreo.
Wow.
Now that's not a good thing.
Not a good thing. And so they would say like I was black
I
on
know
the
what that
outside,
means, yeah.
white on the inside. But I mentioned too, like I learned how to ask why a lot to people.
Now
And
listen,
so-
you didn't? Did you get pissed off? I mean, honestly,
I
you were
would get
upset.
so mad.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I talked about like why I didn't like stereotypes and being built in a box. That's
Yeah.
why. Because
Yeah.
people would put me into a box so much about like just because of my blackness, like who I was.
Oh.
And so high school is when people would call me Oreo, or they wouldn't call me Oreo. They'd be like, Joel, you act like an Oreo. And I would ask them, well, what does that mean? And they would say, well, you're black, but you act white. And I'd be like, what does
wow.
it mean to act white? And they'd say, oh, you're a student body president, you're in all EP classes, you do X, Y, Z. And I'd ask them, okay, well, why is that only something that someone that's white can do?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd say, oh, that's not what I meant. I'd be like, what do you mean? And they'd say, oh, I guess that is what I'm saying. And so Oreos for me are this like symbolism of asking why, of having people like pushing people beyond what they think and like trying to get people out of these stereotypes they have of other people.
Yeah.
In about 2 years ago, I had this, I can't remember her name now, but someone reached out to me on Facebook and they wrote the message. They said, Joel, I have been trying to figure out how to say this for years, but I want to say I'm sorry. I realized like I used to call you an Oreo and make these assumptions about you, X, Y, Z. And now that I've gone through like college and had so many conversations, I realized how harmful that was and how that was like literally not allowing you to be the full person who you could be. And I was
Wow.
like, thank you so much for that message.
So I
'Cause,
was excited to you asked, you said, this is what you like. And I brought, like 8. And then while you're telling the story, I ate one. And then I'm like, now I heard the story. I'm like, I don't even want to eat one anymore. Like you just killed it for me.
That's why I tried to preface it. But no, for me, Oreos are like my power. This was the first
You're
time
taking ownership of it.
I took ownership
It's
of
your
this.
less than 1%.
It's my less than 1%. It's the first time I was able to push people on something that they believed about me and actually got
Yeah.
them to change their mind
Yeah.
and got them to realize that in a ripple effect way.
Yeah.
Where they were like, I'm not just gonna take this lesson. I'm actually gonna move forward in life and not
yeah.
apply it anywhere else.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
yeah.
yeah,
But I
that's
also just love Oreos. They taste
Okay.
really good.
Well, I mean, like,
Like I
you know,
love them.
It was like maybe I wasn't. That was the wrong thing to do. I was
No,
totally
no.
like I saw them. I'm like I'm about to eat them.
No, I truly like I love
Okay.
Oreos. They're so good.
Okay.
But like as I've gone through life, I've like realized that they just have a different meaning to me as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I eat them just like
That's awesome.
Yeah.
power.
Yeah, there you go.
So, you want to try mom again?
Yeah. She actually might have called back. I think I'm on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah. Let's try mom again.
Oh, my brother called me back.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
And my
Is it still hooked up?
Yeah.
He called me back twice. Let me call him. Mom surprisingly did not call me back. I hope she's okay now. Yeah, let me call him back. He called 6 minutes ago. Yo, how's it going?
Yeah, what's up?
Are you working right now?
Yeah.
You have a few minutes?
Yep.
So I'm on a podcast right now with Moo.
Oh.
He'll introduce himself.
Hey, how
Nice.
you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm sorry to bother you. He told me that every second that we are on the phone with you, that you're losing millions. So I apologize.
Millions. It should be billions. What's
It should be billions. There you
going
go.
on here?
There we go. So hey, he's on this podcast. First of all, he's amazing. He's just an amazing person. And one thing we ask on this podcast is what are people's superpower? You know, their individual superpower, the thing that they have that is really going to impact the world. And it can't be I'm on time, or it can't be, you know, I never give up, but something, you know, intrinsic to only him that makes him that is his superpower. So what say you? What do you think that is?
Mm. I mean, I was gonna say that he runs through walls.
Mm.
Like, and what I imagine is like you see a concrete wall, and someone would like maybe knock on it and be like, that's too hard. I'm gonna do something else. But Joel just keeps running into the wall to the
Wow.
point of delusion, and then
Okay, we might have to edit that because you just said that your brother was delusional, but
in a great way,
Yeah.
way, right?
Awesome.
Obviously, and I love him for it, and that's what inspires me a lot.
oh wow,
And you know, I think publicly, it's really easy to see, you know, the rebel, which in this case are like the awards and the followers and the numbers, but you don't see the like hours and hours of repeated work and grind and sweat that goes into it. And obviously, I see it all the time because we text daily, we call like frequently, and see each other in person multiple times a year. So like I see it, but it's something that I really try to aspire to and live up to. I think it's something that he does. Like if he was the top 0.01%, I think that grit, that's what it is.
wow, that is awesome.
Do you see why I go to this
Listen.
guy for advice, Michael?
Listen, I don't have a brother. Can you be mine? Oh man, that's great. That's great. Well, appreciate you. Thank you. I know you're busy, and thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm glad this is fun. Wow, and I wish I was on this podcast.
Hey,
he's pretty impressive.
let's
You might have
go.
to have him
Let's
on.
go. We'll get you on here too,
Yeah.
for sure. For sure.
Michael, I'll be in New York soon, so I'll hit you up.
Yeah, text me. You can crash at my place whenever.
Sounds good.
All right. Good meeting you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. That's awesome.
That's interesting.
That's awesome.
Because you told us you were a builder, but your brother
And my
says
brother's like, no.
you're breaking walls down.
You're smashing
You're
the buildings.
smashing
To the point of
buildings down.
delusion. That's what I loved. I was just thinking like I'm hitting my head against the wall, but he's like, no, he
Yeah.
said rubble. I was like, good. I got through the wall at least.
Yeah, that's brilliant though.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. I mean, I think so, hopefully you learned something about yourself in this. Yeah, we think we don't think anybody does this. Somebody's gonna steal it.
It's all
Yeah.
right.
I love it though,
Yeah,
because
somebody's gonna steal it.
so I mean, there's this thing I talk about a lot. Like what is brand versus like reputation?
Mm.
I don't know if you've like
Yeah,
heard this
yeah,
before, but
mhm.
like the idea that like reputation is how people see you,
Yep.
right? And like how they expect, like just the things you've done, how they see you. Then there's brand, which is like how you want to be perceived by other people.
Yep.
And so it's always interesting to me, like where does that match up? Where does it not match up? And yeah, I don't know. I think I would have expected my dad's answer. I don't think I would have expected my brother's answer though.
Yeah, your brother's
So-
answer is the behind the scenes answer,
Yeah.
right? It's the answer that's not obvious.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, let's face it, right? We're family now,
Yeah.
officially.
Yeah.
Since we,
Absolutely.
Talk to half.
We have to do the DNA test to
Yeah,
tell
we
tell
do,
me.
yeah.
We'll wait on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll be on Maury. Is Maury still on?
No, I think it's gone now.
Yeah, Maury Povich. So I was like, you are not. Not here.
You are not the father.
Yeah.
You are not
Yeah,
siblings.
But yeah, I think that's I think it's an opportunity to learn, because I think no matter what, externally, even when we walk out at the door, we have a face on.
Mm-hmm.
And so these people, family members
Yep.
and close friends,
Yep.
they see the face, you know, they see me before Visine, you know,
Yep,
I'm like,
yep.
oh man, Moo, you look tired today.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am, but I don't give that out into the world. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Two more questions.
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I guess at this point, the question was, do you consider yourself as a disruptor? But I think we can all agree that yes, you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Being a disruptor, then, what if you could disrupt one thing in medicine tomorrow,
Oh man.
what would it be?
That's a great question.
I don't know how feasible this is. And this will, like, I think as I get into residency, I'll figure out if this is like something that can actually work. But, and maybe, I mean, I'm actually curious about your answer to
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
But coming into medicine, like, I came into medicine knowing I wanted to be a disruptor. Like, that's actually why I went into medicine.
Yeah.
I haven't talked about this very often, but I almost quit after my first year of college. Did not do very well. Got a really bad grade in some of my classes. I remember one class in particular, chemistry.
Yeah.
I went to my professor, was like, oh, I'm going to go to office hours, like, get some help. His first question he asked me is, are you an athlete? Because if so, don't worry. So many athletes drop out. And, like, you can drop out this class, maybe take another time. And I was like, is it because I'm black? Like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
I'm like not as scrawny now, but I was a scrawny kid.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you see
yeah.
pictures of me in first year and you're like, no, that kid does not play sports.
Right.
He gets ran over. He's a water boy.
Yeah.
But like, I remember there's so many times that like discouraged me. And so I was like, I don't know if I want to go into medicine. But I took a health policy class.
Yeah.
And that's what actually got me to want to stay in medicine. Cause I was like, there are so many things wrong with our healthcare system right now that I want to fix it. I think one of the things I would disrupt is just how pricing works and having more transparency within a price. I always think, what if we had sounds weird, but like an a la carte hospital where you go up and all the prices are listed there for patients. Right now, they're behind the scenes. Like, doctors often don't know how much things cost, right? Insurance companies, you have to do so much negotiation. I think there's so much fat that could be slimmed in order to make it just a little bit more understandable for consumers to know what they're getting into. And not exactly like a McDonald's where you can see all the prices, but a little bit more similar.
Yeah.
There's at least this budget that people can look at. And it exists in some ways, but I think there isn't something that's very clear right now. And so I'm curious about your thoughts on that. If it's accurate, if it's inaccurate, if you think people are working on that.
I think I would take it a little higher because payers, and it's so complex.
It gets really,
right?
but
Because
that's my issue. Like, it's so it shouldn't be complex.
well,
I actually think there should be a way for healthcare to be so much simpler than it is, but it's complex because there's so many stakeholders in it right now.
so I want to take that and I think that's similar to my version of disruption, which is the thing I'd love to disrupt, Jordan, is bureaucracy, right? Bureaucracy, and again, I'm not talking politics, and I don't like to talk about politics and per se, but the levels of complexity that is created by human beings. Because at the end of the day, you're sick or you're not sick or you're healthy or you want to get checked and you want someone to do it, and that's it. But if you want to get from here to the hotel, it's a very non-bureaucratic way. You click your button. We're gonna have lunch later. I'm gonna click the button. I'm gonna get some Jamaican food, and it comes. And so the bureaucracy for me, which really comes from humans, is humans and stakeholders, and we'll layer here, layer here, layer here.
Things,
The second thing, in so far as the costs, for me, my perception of costs is different.
Absolutely.
Because of how the healthcare space is wired. Because I have to charge somebody who can't afford it lower than somebody who can. And then we do that with taxes. We just in life, we just feel like, hey, you should not get healthcare if you're poor, but I have to charge you something. You have to have some stake in the game. And so that's what I think why one of the reasons there's no transparency. But to that point, what you mentioned with the a la carte, I love that. Is the other disruption I think is consumerism.
Yeah.
And just like this podcast, I would love for healthcare not to be called healthcare.
Yeah.
For healthcare to be part of your everyday existence, whether it's business or play or whatever it is, that is actually part where we don't have a conference where we just get a bunch of doctors to stand behind podiums.
Yeah.
We actually get a conference with a lot of different people from a lot of different areas that can solve multiple problems.
Love it. Yep.
And I guarantee you, someone like your brother or even you, you could solve these problems like that.
Yeah.
But you have to go through all these bureaucratic steps. And now we're dealing with all that. So to me, that I think we can do. I think Vituity has done a lot of that in different ways. I mean, our foundation, we see patients for free.
Yeah.
We go out and write their names down and care for them. I think last year was like $8.5 million of care that we delivered.
That's amazing.
But again, world hunger, it's a small scale, and hopefully that can go higher.
Exactly. And so it's like it's something that's hard. And as you mentioned, you just listed out a lot of the complexities within there. But I think there's that, like, wanting to make sure that people understand where the healthcare is coming from. And like, at the end of the day, everyone deserves healthcare. It's something that there should never be a financial burden to it at all.
I have a question about your future how you want to impact, but I want to ask you this. So we often ask people, what, why'd you come? I mean, obviously, we're friends, brothers, family at that point, and you're like, hey, I want to go do this thing. But your time is precious. Your time is important to you. You're in a lot of different things. You've got to get all this done before July 1st.
June 9th.
June 9th, okay.
Man, yeah.
Right? So,
yeah.
so my question to you is, what do you want out of sitting here today with me and Jordan on Less Than 1%? What would you want to tell the audience, the people who are listening, watching, you, and like, they're like, hey, Joel's on Moo's podcast, and what do you want to give them?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you just did it because we're family.
Well, I mean,
No, I'm
actually,
just
something that
thinking.
you said earlier
Yeah.
today, it's the idea that like everyone has a superpower, and the difference between a superpower, well, how do I say this? Like, have you? I'm gonna go back to another show.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Boys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So The Boys, you know how there's like weird superpowers on there, right?
Yes. Yeah, they're all weird.
Yeah.
No, they're-
Yes.
okay, we're PG.
Yeah, PG. So maybe don't go watch it if you're under 18. But there's like really weird superpowers
Yeah.
on there. But I think everyone has a superpower. But whether you see your superpower as like a benefit or as a detriment is all about like how you see it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like whether it was being called an Oreo, something that was detrimental to me, but I turned that into a strength to be like,
Yes.
how am I going to use this to inspire the people and have them ask why, get to the root cause of issues. I think what I would want to leave with people is that we all have a superpower. It's all about how do you surround yourself with people that are going to uplift that superpower so that you can figure out your way that you want to change the world.
I love that.
And
love
years
that.
ago, when my sister went to Harvard, and when she was graduating, Oprah was speaking. It's still to this day one of the best speeches I've ever heard. And I'm gonna get this wrong exactly what she said, but she essentially said, build a resume that doesn't tell about what you want to do, but why you want to do that. And that left such an impression on me. Because I think in high school especially, I've been running this rat race of doing everything and doing it to get into college, get into a good college. And I got into a good college, and Yale was amazing, but I was like, I've done what I wanted to do for so long.
Yeah.
How do I seek out something more? And I think I had to really reframe that. Like I wasn't doing things for the accolades, but figuring out the deeper why of who I was and what I wanted to do. And I wanted to find that out early so that I could like live the rest of my life not having to think about running a rat race, but doing something that was greater than me. I think that's what I
Wow.
want to leave with everyone. Find your superpower, find the people that surround you that will uplift you, and then figure out what it is that you want to leave in this world for the next generation.
Well, I had another question, but I think I'm going to
I
stop
think
there
you
because
can stop it right
that
there.
is so brilliant. That is so
Yeah.
brilliant. Brother, thank you so much for being here. I know you're busy. Good luck in residency. I shouldn't even say good luck. I know you'll kill it in residency.
I'm excited for
Um,
residency.
You know,
I can't
again,
wait.
Jordan and I, all the people at Vituity, whatever you need for support, we'd love for you to be a Vitan someday, and appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate you.
All right, man. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Truly.
yeah. All right. Awesome. Man. Hey, come here.
You're amazing.